What's up, people? It's your boy Profection back again for another video. Okay, this video in particular is on smiling. Okay, the reason why I'm addressing this topic is because the other day I was sitting down with my mother and my uncle, and the topic came up. And basically, my mother's views at the time believed that when she's around people that smile too much, that it's a bad thing. You know, these people can be seen as fake or phony. Um, and it was interesting. It was interesting. I'll tell you why it was interesting, because there's another thing. I remember going to a club about 3 years ago, and there was a certain guy there, and he's always smiling and all of that. And for some reason, when I used to go out on the balcony for a cigarette, he would be there. And for some reason, he was always kind of talking to dudes there. He wasn't really talking to women there. Occasionally, I'd see him with a woman there and everything else. But a conversation started with him, and I think a friend of mine said to him, "You're gay," and he said, he turns around and he said, "No, I'm not gay." He said, "Are you gay?" And my friend's like, "No, I'm not gay," and all of that. And then the conversation started anyway. So he turns around and he says, and we asked him, "How would you spot someone that was homosexual?" You know, and he turned around and he said, "The first thing I look for is someone that's always smiling." You know, so this subject is an important subject. It's a subject that definitely needs to be addressed, because I think that we've got to a stage in society where everything is kind of backwards in a sense, you know, and people are just kind of going along with it. And yeah, so that's what we're going to kind of try to explore today. So the first thing I want to say to you is that is smiling a bad thing? You know, can smiling be seen as a bad thing? The answer to that question is no. It can't be seen as a bad thing. I think that some people have the wrong intentions. I think some people we'll start off with a positive perspective on it. We'll say that you've got to look at it this way, that when we're brought into this world as babies, what are we doing? We're smiling. You know, so the smile is combined with our innocence. You know, we come into this world as children and we're smiling and we're laughing. It's part of our innocence. And then somewhere along the lines, that's kind of taken from us, and we end up smiling less. You know, we end up not trusting people. A smile can lead to wrong interpretations. You know, like if you're a female, for example, and you're smiling around certain men or whatever, they may get the wrong impression and those kind of things. So we enter this world like that, and there's certain things that happen along the way that prevent us from smiling. You know. But you've got to understand that even animals notice the difference between a human being that's smiling and a human being that's aggressive. You know, there's a certain aura, there's a certain presence that we kind of what's the word? You know, it's almost like there's a certain aura basically that we kind of emit. There's a kind of like a light that we emit when we're smiling, when we're happy. You know. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so animals can see it too, and you got to look at like you know, even in workplace environments. You know, it only takes one person in a workplace environment. You know, I've been there. I've been in certain workplace environments, and sometimes the people are quite moody. They're quite, you know, the day's going long or whatever. It only takes one person to come through that door with a smile. You know, whether it be male, whether it be female. You know, one person to come through with a big smile, and it just they just radiate that kind of happy buzz, that kind of mood, that kind of expression on their face. Just kind of it lights up the room, you know, and it can affect the whole room. Basically, the whole room can suddenly feel slightly uplifted from it, you know. Smiling is a beautiful thing. It releases dopamine. It releases serotonin, and it releases endorphins. You know, it releases those three things. So what else was going to say with it? I think where it can be seen although there's a lot of music videos today, and even some rap videos and things like that are saying, you know, if you're smiling, then you're a funny guy and all of this kind of thing. You know, a lot of even Jamaica, some of their music promote it, which is weird because if you look at Jamaica, it is what it is based upon the smiles. When they have an advert of Jamaica, someone's sitting back on the beach and they're smiling. You know, they're happy. You know, and that's what draws people to Jamaica. So it's weird to see these kind of videos where they're talking about funny guy and this and that. They're relating. Let's assume that they were talking about they're talking about gay people, whatever. But when you're saying funny guy, you're relating something positive with something negative. You know, although I'm not trying to say that being gay is a bad thing or nasty thing. To be honest with you, I don't really get involved in all that kind of stuff. What I'm trying to say is you're equating something positive with hate. That's the point that I'm trying to make. You know, where else are we going with this? Even if you don't have a good smile, you know, I was going to do this video yesterday, but the reason why I didn't do it is because my mother ended up going into hospital. I had a client that I was supposed to see. Unfortunately, the client kind of didn't turn up or whatever. So it kind of, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do a happy video if my mother was in hospital at the time. But even if you have a bad smile, still smile. You know, don't be afraid to kind of, you know, to smile when you feel like smiling. Don't feel that you have to hold back or whatever. Because as sad as it sounds, we're kind of living in a world where people are kind of selling themselves out, you know, and they're walking around and they're doing things and they're not always aware of what they're doing. Misery needs company, you know, so there's a lot of people out there where they feel maybe by putting you down, it kind of puts them one level above you, or they've conquered you, or they've somehow, you know, what's the word? They've somehow, by putting you down, they've kind of they've regained some sort of self-esteem or some sort of confidence by knocking you down. But that's more of a sellout mentality. I will get to those videos, the sellout video, which will be a very important video, because that will be explaining a hell of a lot of things. But these people are kind of like, they're selling themselves out, and sometimes you're going to be faced with those kind of environments where people don't want to see you smile. They don't want to see you happy. You know, as Jamaicans say, they're bad-minded people. But even if you have a bad smile, still don't be afraid to smile, because all you're doing really is you're holding that kind of tension up, and it just turns into negativity. You know, there's been times where I've gone into clubs, especially back in the day, and there were people there standing on the wall, and they were basically taking the mickey out of people that were enjoying themselves, while people were in the middle of the dance floor dancing. And I'm not going to lie, not all of them were good dancers. They would be standing on the wall, back of the wall. They'd be standing on the wall like this. And they'll tap their friend on the shoulder and go, this guy, man, look at this punk and all of that. But these people were sellouts. They're sellouts, and what they're doing is they're kind of trying to rob other people of their happiness, because other people are happy and they're content and they're filled with their lives. They were trying to kind of rob people from that, you know. I always used to say back in the day that you know, karma will find its way to these kind of people that do that, but what I didn't realize was karma had already found their way to them. You know, a lot of the times if someone's walking around and they're kind of putting down people that are happy or kind of enjoying themselves, you know, most likely karma has found their way to them. Doesn't make a difference whether they got 10 cars, whether they got 10 girls or whatever it is. If you're walking around and behaving that way, it's already found their way. So when people say, oh yeah, that guy, when he's going to get what's coming to him, no, he already has what's coming to him. That's why he's behaving that way in the first place. But, you know, by the sadistic smile that he has on his face or she has on her face when she's putting people down, I guarantee you behind all of that is tears, is fear, is loneliness, is all of those kind of things. So even if you have a bad smile, smile anyway, You know, getting back to that whole dance floor thing, it got to a point in most clubs that I used to go to where people were kind of shy and afraid of dancing and all of that. So what I would do is I would be the first to go out in the middle of the dance floor and just dance anyway. You know, and if people laughed at me, I didn't really mind. You know, again, I think part of it came from the fact that I believed that I could dance, and I did believe in myself. So I believed that, listen, I can dance anyway. But people would see it and they would go, yeah. And what it would do is some people that couldn't dance would come out there and dance with me, dance alongside me. And again, like I said, it only takes one person to get into that environment and change it, you know, illuminate it, you know, light it up. So don't be afraid to smile. Fake smiles or things like that, yeah, there will be certain times where people around you are smiling and it's not a genuine smile, but at the end of the day, it has nothing, you know, this is about yourself, this is how you feel, it has nothing to do with other people. There are some people out there with dishonest smiles, but again, it's not about what you're interpreting, it's about what you're feeling. So it has nothing to do with you kind of looking at other people and trying to figure out what they're doing. It's about what you're doing and how you're feeling, you know. What else would I say? And I think that pretty much sums it all up. Do not be afraid to smile. What did I say in the beginning? Yeah, and I think when my mum made that comment about she doesn't really trust people, or you know, she prefers people not to smile and all that. How I personally see it is, it's never what we say, it's always what we do. And that's how I've lived my life. So I've been around extremely attractive women, you know. I've been around extremely charismatic, handsome men. I've been around them all, you know. I've been around the players, I've been around the talkers, I've been around the charmers. But at the end of the day, it always boils down to what we do, you know what I mean? So in regards to fake smiles and this and that, I've had experiences where I've been around people and I'm not going to lie to you, I felt the energy from their smile and I've listened to what they're saying and everything else, and it sounded really good. But inevitably, it's always going to boil down to what we do. So if you are around certain people that are like that, or you're attracted to it yourself, just keep that in mind, that you know, it's never what we say, it's always what we do at the end of the day. But for you personally, regardless if you've got, like, yeah, I've got a gap in my teeth, you know, my teeth were kind of, I never really took good care of my teeth. I was eating so much sweets and things like that when I was younger. They're not glistening Hollywood white, but if I feel to smile, then I'll smile, you know, because I tell you now, as someone that suffered from mental health for a long time, when you're holding it in, it's not a good thing. You're not able to release that kind of tension, and before you know it, you're standing on the wall. Punk, man. Look at this punk, yeah? Idiot, blood. What's man smiling for? You're skinning teeth for, blood. Before you know it, you become a complete sellout as well. So I will do a video on sellouts as well. I will explain it, because I think that a lot of people are sellouts, so I'm going to be honest about it. And I think that it's, you know, I think that we're living in a world where it's very easy to get caught up in that kind of mentality, the hating mentality, the judging mentality. It's very easy to get caught up in it. But it goes back to my judging video, the judging games, that when you point one finger, okay, there's always technically three pointing back at you, you know. And it's embarrassing when you kind of get exposed, when you're on the other, now all of a sudden you're on the other receiving end of it, you know. It's like me walking into a room and judging people on their trousers, and then suddenly the whole group says, all right, we've held that for long enough, why have you got a hole in your shoes? And I look down and go, what the hell? I didn't even realize I had a hole in my shoes. And then before I know it, I'm exposed. So but anyway, I'm glad you've enjoyed this video. Smile more, okay? Remember I said to you, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, it's a good thing. Use that if you are blessed, because some of us are blessed with perfect smile, perfect teeth and all of that, then use it to your advantage. Use it to light up your community, light up your friends and family. use it in a good way, not in a sadistic way where you're kind of getting off on other people's suffering or trying to take that away from people. Use it in a positive way, because you are blessed. You know, even those who without a smile, you're still blessed as well. And smile, okay? Don't be afraid or ashamed of smiling. If your people around you don't like that, you may need to sit back sometimes and evaluate that and say, why is it that every time I'm happy, you kind of want to take that away from me, you know? These are things you need to analyze. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Peace.